talk about the criticism you've been facing. Your opponent, Katie Wilson, says you've put the interest of large businesses ahead of struggling families, and they're being left behind in the last 3.5 years of your administration. What would be your response to that criticism?
Well, number one is you have to look at life experiences, number one. So as an attorney, I held a lot of large businesses accountable. I led class action lawsuits against large corporations for gender discrimination, race discrimination. I value our large businesses. They bring jobs here. They pay B&O taxes, so I don't denigrate them as well. Our B&O tax policy was probably the most progressive tax that this city has ever done, and where we're, again, taxing the largest corporations and making sure 90% of the businesses have a break. That's good tax policy, and I don't think any other mayor would have touched that, to my knowledge. I'd also say, you look at my legislation like Ban the Box, where I prohibited corporations from asking about the criminal background of an employee. That was largely opposed by a lot of employers. So that rhetoric she's spewing is just baseless, and I go back to life experiences and our actual policies. She can't point to one policy that does that. They just say these generalities, but there's not one policy that does that.
Mayor, you've been a public servant for a long time now. You're a pretty well-known entity in this city. So what do you make of almost 60% of the people in the primary voting against you?
Well, it's a tough job. With Trump in office, I understand the angst and the anger. I have been in a position of power, and people, they could see me as a target. I lead with a spirit of humility. That experience here, particularly now in 2025, 2026, is not a liability, it's essential, it's a necessity. I'm well versed in the 10th Amendment, the federal overreach clause in our Constitution. I've appeared in front of federal court. So right now, you don't need an unproven person trying to run an $8 billion city. The fact of the matter is being an incumbent right now with Trump in office is a tough job. But I sign up for that. People ask me to rebuild the public safety system, I've done that. They have asked me to remove some of the encampments and get people housed, we've done that. They asked me to invest in affordable housing, I've done that. So I'm a proven commodity, and I think a lot of people didn't pay attention during the primary. Everyone thought I was a shoo-in, let's just be honest. Labor supports me, business supports me, neighborhoods support me. But there's a lot of angst out there, and I have to recognize that. And in the general, we're having conversations all around the city about what we can do, and that's what we're going to do.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the Trump comparison. Are you saying that people are anti-authority right now, and so they're taking their anti-Trump feelings and pointing them at you?
No, let me be very clear on that. Thanks for the clarification. People are very angry right now, period. They look at the price of a house. They look at people being unhoused. They look at Trump's cruelty, where he's cutting funding to cancer research, to public safety, to transportation projects. He's using diversity, equity, and inclusion as treating them as though they're bad things. People are anxious right now, and I have been in a position of power. I have to own that. And what I'm suggesting to folks is that you have to look at what I've actually done, a lifetime of service. So, had Harris won, I think there'd be a different conversation in the city right now. But it is the hand that we're dealt. And again, I say that in this situation, this is where experience matters. And quite honestly, if I'm gonna be candid with everyone, as I only know how to be, people weren't paying a lot of attention to the primary in terms of who was running. I mean, I was running the city, and I think I did 3 debates. And people don't know who Katie Wilson is. And they're finding more and more about her positions, that she's changing now. And then they will say, well, this person, if you look at the data, crime rates going down, shots fired going down, homicides going down, education going up. They'll say, well, and look at the hand I was dealt 3-4 years ago. It was a tough city to manage. You remember the conditions. So we think that once voters in the general look at that, of course, we will win re-election.
But there's a trend here, Mayor, where the voters in this primary were making a statement, and I doubt anybody would argue that the Trump effect, they would check Trump and you in the same voter box. So with that aside, with the people that voted for Katie Wilson, what do you think as you carry this around with you, what do you think that they were trying to say about you?
Well, what I think they're trying to say about me is I have been in a position of authority, and they want more. They want to see more of what. Here's, I think,
The people who voted for Katie Wilson, what were they trying to say about you?
Well, perhaps they were saying that they want the city to be more affordable. They want to see people housed, and they want to make sure that they have someone in office that can be a change agent. That's what they say. When an incumbent is in office, they're saying they want a change agent. Now, I am the change agent. I've only been mayor for 3.5 years, right? So if you look at the change we've done, when I say that an unprecedented housing levy at $970 million, an unprecedented transportation levy at $1.55 billion, now recruiting officers at the clip we're doing, we're succeeding numbers that's ever been in the city's history before in terms of how we're recruiting. We are the change agent. So if they want change, then I would be the one that they would vote for.